like Spartans. If he indeed the MC, vitamin like GNC. Can't see me like B.I.G. on CMT. Did a little bit of time on BMG.
Hello and welcome to the Deits Sports Talk. Hi, I'm your host, Robert Dieters, and on tap tonight we have MLB, some NFL, and maybe some NBA. I'm not sure yet, but I for sure have three callers. I got Steven Hughes, an MLB analyst, and he does a lot. We also do a lot of sports together, as I know he's not going to have a show for a while, but he can also be special guests as well. Nick Rice, my NFL analyst, and Jason Garoline's going to be on for a segment as well. As I have Steven on the phone right now. Steven, how are you?
Hey, Robert. I'm glad to be on the show with you once again.
Hey, Steven, and I know we're big into MLB now. Now we're at the postseason, and the A's making that run, that last game, the 162th game of the season, which really counted for the A's, because they got to celebrate twice in the same series. How do you think the A's are? Do you think they're going to be a threatening team in this postseason?
Well, you obviously you just saw from maybe watched the Oakland, Texas series from the last 3 days. It was very intense. A's were really into it, and they got some lucky breaks, especially on the last game yesterday when Josh Hamilton dropped the ball to break the tie and to make it 7-5, and the A's never looked back after that, winning 12-5 and getting the AL West. So very great. It's a great story that the A's have. Now, they're 13 A's back in June, and that's a big accomplishment for the A's to come back, especially on a team it was a bunch of rookie pitchers like Jared Griffin, Tommy Malone. Those guys are really just done a great job this year. And then Yoenis Cespedes, great job his rookie season. And Josh Reddick. He's kind of a veteran. I would consider him a veteran. He's played a few years in Boston too, so I think he's provided the leadership.
And how the A's look this postseason, I know after a while. Remember the beginning of the season, Steven? Oh, the A's aren't going to make it. They're not going to be division champs. They're not going to make it to the playoffs. Look at where they are now. And, fans, I actually thought that as well. In the beginning, I'm like, well, you just gave up 3 of your top pitchers, which 2 of them are Trevor Cahill and Gio Gonzalez, and Gio Gonzalez is on the Nationals, and he is going to the playoffs as well. And it's just the A's have this spark, and the offense and pitching has come alive. And I know there's been some injuries with the pitching. Do you think that will affect the postseason?
I don't think so. I think that the A's are going to do pretty well. I know they're playing Detroit. They're playing the first 2 games of the series in Detroit, and then the last 3, 2 of them if necessary, at home in Oakland. So hopefully the A's need to get one game in Detroit. If they get 2, that's just much easier. If they lose both in Detroit, it's going to be very hard to win 3 in a row at home. But you obviously saw that they did against Texas, and they forced Texas to play Baltimore tomorrow, pretty much. So there's going to be some difficulty with the A's because most of the team has not been to the playoffs in their careers, probably, especially the pitchers who are rookies. They have no playoff experience, so there might be a problem there. But we'll see, Robert.
And what's the most difficult challenge for the A's as they come in facing Detroit? I know the pitching and the offense has worked as well for them. What do you think is the key for the A's, and what's the most difficult challenge for them?
I think that right now for the A's, I think that the problem that they possibly could have is from the offense. I think that they could struggle, and if that doesn't happen, and the pitching is already doing well, but the pitching, they do get up a couple of runs, so get it up 2-0, 2-1. I think the offense is going to be the big key for the A's to do something with, because they don't have a lot of big bats. Yoenis Cespedes, he's not really he's an average hitter at most, but sometimes he can go 0 for 3 and 0 for 4 in those type of games. Same thing as Josh Rice, but he doesn't have those games a lot. So they have to trust their lineup, especially the first 2 games in Detroit as they're facing for sure. The Max Scherzer, two of the best pitchers in the American League, and those pitchers went 1-2 in the AL strikeouts list this regular season. So it'll be a challenge for the A's. The first two games, and then the three games in Oakland possibly. They'll probably face Joseph Verlander again if it goes to a game 5, but we'll see.
And I also want to move on to Baltimore and Texas, as Yu Darvish will take the mound for the wild card game against the Texas Rangers. And Joe Saunders will start for the O's. And what do you think of Joe Saunders this season? Do you think he's going to be experienced enough to maybe get through the Texas Rangers offensive lineup?
I think that Joe Saunders, he could possibly have a problem against Texas, mainly because, he does have some playoff experience. He was with Arizona when they went to the playoffs last season as the NL West champions as they took on Milwaukee. And he was struggling. I think he pitched one game, and he had a hard time really trying to go out to the Brewers lineup, which at the time had the likes of Prince Fielder, so Brian Braun, and Ricky Weeks. And to think that Joe Sanders has a challenge to climb over as he's taken on possibly the best offensive team that has ever really assembled in the last probably decade or two, with like Josh Hamilton and Adrian Beltre and Mike Napoli and Ian Kinsler and Elvis Andrus. So many guys that can do so many things in that lineup. And it just goes 1 through 9. The lineup is just completely stacked. There are no negatives in that lineup. It's going to be very hard, but if the A's can do it, I think the Orioles could do it. And the Orioles and the Yankees, that'll be a nice battle in one of the two ALDS division series games, overall. And I think Baltimore gets the win, the surprising win in Texas, only because I think that Texas, they've been struggling. They're lacking confidence already, because if they got swept by the A's, then things could happen already here against the Orioles. So I think the Orioles, who have so much confidence going into this, they knew they're going to make it to the playoffs. They didn't really care if it was the AL East or the wild card. So they're just happy to be here. This is like their first winning season in like a decade. So lots of positives from the Orioles, but I'll give them the nod.
And, I'm looking at the stats here for Saunders at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. He's 0-6 with a 9.38 ERA in 6 starts. Not very good wins or losses total at all, with a really horrible ERA, Steven. And I think that's going to affect him, but you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he could come back and blow the Rangers away. As you said the O's will take the nod in this one, and Texas has been struggling. They got swept by the A's.
Yeah, but I think that they won't really pitch Joe Saunders off. The Orioles do have a deep bullpen, and led by the closer, Jim Johnson, has 51 saves this year, I think, and obviously from 51 saves from a guy that I didn't hear of until this year, that really got the American League thinking, hey, if this is a 3-0 game, or if it's a game if the Orioles are up by 3 or less, then Jim Johnson's go out there and shut it down. He has done a terrific job out of the bullpen. I think the 51 saves led the American League, or was second in the American League. Really good job. For a guy that really led this team, 51, okay, look at this. 51 saves, and that's more than half of the team's wins. So he is a key contributor in closing the game for the Orioles, and that's why they're possibly here, because they are able to get a closer. Last year they had Kevin Gregg, and he blew saves all the time. This year, Johnson comes in, and he just does the job pretty much every single time, Robert.
Yes, Steven, and I'm going to have to agree with you on that. So let's go to the NL wildcard game, as these are the first two games of the postseason. Kyle Laus versus Medlin against St. Louis and Latsest. Steven, what can you tell me about these pitchers? Do you think who do you think will take the nod in this one? And they both have great offensive lineups. How will the offensive lineups do as well?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game. This is probably going to be a better overall game than the Braves and the Orioles and the Rangers game. This is going to be a very close game, only because these two teams have had such a successful history in their franchise in recent years, with just terrific pitching, terrific hitting, and then Chipper Jones retiring, so the Braves want to win the World Series ring possibly, and then for the Cardinals looking to repeat. So this is a big game for both teams, and given sort of a tail of the tape for the pitchers, Kyle Roach is 16-3 this year, with 2.86 ERA, very good stats this year. He goes right after the hitter. Some good stuff. He has a sinker that he has in his arsenal. I think that's his main pitch. And then also he will go after the fastball, topping out at 91, 92. And for Chris Medlin, he's had a pretty good season, unfortunately, for the Cardinals, because he has the record for most. Okay, so he started. Okay, I think I'm saying this right, but the Braves have won 23 straight games in which he has started, and that's a major league record. And obviously, from there, that's a concern. He's 10-1 this season. That loss came back in the beginning of the season, so the Cardinals should be worried, and especially he is at home, and he does particularly well at home, just really doing the job. He literally doesn't get up any runs at home. The ERA at home is below 2.5. That's ridiculous, and that's home advantage right there for Chris Medlin. And I give the Braves the nod in that one. Then they will take on the NL East rival Washington Nationals in the LDS.
And Steven, I'm looking at this, and there's advantages for each position here. And you look at catcher Yadier Molina, and interesting, Brian McCann will sit on this wild card game as he favors David Ross. Steven, why do you think they favor David Ross, even though McCann has struggled offensively since August due to that shoulder injury? Do you think David Ross would contribute more, or will he favor more against Yadier Molina?
Well, I think that let's first concentrate on the Atlanta problem of the catchers now. Give you give the advantage here for catchers in this game. So I'll give the nod to David Ross, because he's kind of like Brian McCann, but he's a right-handed batter. Brian McCann, he's obviously stated that he had a shoulder injury, and that's been hurting his body this season, and especially during the second part of the regular season. But I'll give it out to David Ross, because he has the power like Brian McCann. He hits like Brian McCann. And I see him hit. They're still not pretty much. It's kind of like a system. If there's a left-handed pitcher starting, David Ross would stop. But it's kind of different right now, because Kyle Roach is a righty. He's going to get the start, and David Ross is going to start. So with the injury that Brian McCann has, I think that if Atlanta wins, then they can experiment and see during the first two games if McCann can live up to the passion and get some attention, really help his ball club get Washington LPS. They can be Washington, but we'll see if they can do that. But then the St. Louis and Atlanta advantage for catchers. Since Ross has started, I'm going to give it to Molina. Gold Glover, can't really here's the rod. Ross is the second string catcher that he puts in football terms in that. He's a backup catcher. He does get some playing time, but Yadier Molina is so much better than that. And Yadier Molina is a complete hitter. He has a